Hello, Enrique. This is Rachel. This is my first time ever doing a video discussion, so bear with me. We will be talking about the book we read for our last class assignment, Sperm Counts. There was a few chapters in it that stood out to me rather than more than others. One chapter was My Sperm in Shining Armor. It was talking about how sperm and sex and children and babies are all introduced to kids in children's books. It's funny because when I was little, I used to read a book called The Birds and the Bees, which they talk about in here. Basically, it's sex ed for children. There was a lot of different points that I wanted to talk about. One was that children's books really, as I notice now that I've read this and have thought about it, it really promotes heterosexualism and non-kinkiness. It will say, like, these two people fall in love and they fit together and then a baby's born. Just like that. They don't really go in to all the stuff about any of that. Like this kind of just shows like, oh, after they fell in love, this is the baby. Another thing that really interests me was that, as I know, children learn their social roles through the media, through books, through everything that surrounds them. It's all gendered. One thing that really interested me in these books was how sperm is represented. It's represented as basically the hero, the one that is racing to the egg and gets there is basically the alpha dog. I want to talk about how sperm is represented as basically the only thing about sex. Like, it's more focused on the sperm's journey, the sperm being there, the sperm, like, basically getting to the egg, so the egg will be fertilized. But it has nothing really said about the egg and their journey. Another thing that I noticed is that in one book, I guess this was a real big shock when it came out, it says, the title, Where Did I Come From? The Facts of Life Without Any Nonsense and Illustrations. And they have a little sperm with a top hat, and he's all this like romantic little guy, and he's rushing to his egg, who is represented by long eyelashes, and basically feminizing her. I realized that in a lot of books, the guy is talked about with words like strong, hurries, digs, fertilizes. And women are beautiful, kind, tender. Basically, it just plays into the whole patriarchy, men are higher than women type thing. So yeah, I guess there was one or two books that had stuff about lesbianism in it, and that was really different. The next thing I want to talk about is the next chapter, which was also very interesting. It was Chapter 4, Overcome the Money Shot in Porno and Prostitution. Now, I don't watch too much porn. Well, I mean, like, I see casual porn in movies, but I don't just order HBO porn. I have a lot of guy friends who have, and so when I started reading this about the money shot, I didn't even know what that meant. I guess it means actually showing the sperm, like, during the stuff, which is interesting because I guess, according to the book, you get paid more for it, which is definitely interesting. Another thing about porn is that there's a porno called Girls Gone Wild for Sperm, and it shows things like girls swallowing, girls smearing it all over their bodies, girls bathing in it, like it's God's gift to earth. And mind you, it just shows how, like, it's a male perception that they have over us, like we love their sperm or something, that it just shows basically the hierarchy. What really interested me was I saw in the book, I used to watch There's Something About Mary. That used to be like one of my favorite movies when I was younger. And it really shocked me that I was reading this and it was saying how even in that movie it shows the hierarchy with men and everything. And I was thinking about it, I was like, when? And then I read that it was the part when she's using the gel, but it's really sperm to fix her hair. And it just shocks me that, like, I never really picked up on it. It was just, like, a movie that I watched. Very interesting, that's for sure. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Chapter 5, The Family Jewels. Basically, it's about sperm banks, and it says Sperm Banks and the Crisis of Fatherhood, which I find absolutely the perfect title for it because sperm banks have been giving lesbians and single moms an opportunity to be a parent without the male, basically without the male at all. I found it very interesting that men, when they donate, only get $40 to $60 every ejaculation, but then it's sold for $240. But I also found it interesting that if a girl donates her eggs, it's $5,000 to $50,000. Like, that's a lot of money. That's way more than just the sperm ejaculation. Yes, guaranteed it is a procedure, a medical surgical procedure, but it just shows how, like, we don't need them as much as they need us, because, like, yes, we need your sperm, but you need our eggs and you need us to carry the baby. So I also found that very interesting. I found it interesting that 4 million children are born in the U.S. every year, and 30,000 comes from test tubes. I mean, it started talking about the Daddy Strike Back and all these petitions about how lesbians shouldn't be parents and same-gendered parents shouldn't be there, but, like, my opinion, some homosexual couples are way better, actually probably most, are way better than heterosexual parents. So I don't think they should be judged because of their gender. I mean, if they're loving their kid and caring about their kid, that should be it. I also found it interesting that a lot of men stopped donating due to they didn't want to be found when they were older. They didn't want the child to grow up and look them up and find them, and which is actually very, very strange because I was reading this book and then I was watching MTV, and there's a show called Generation Creo, and it's about this girl who finds all her siblings, like they say in here, they usually find their siblings and then leave their dad out. And she finds all her siblings and she goes and looks for her dad, and she finds him. And he's not, I mean, he doesn't look upset, but he doesn't look happy. It kind of just shows, like, how relevant this stuff is, to be honest. Another thing that I found interesting, basically, how the way sperm was found. They did a lot of different things, and now sperm can be used as, like, evidence for crime scenes and stuff that's, like, amazing. This book was definitely a lot of history and stuff about semen and their journey and the male, and this was one of my first documentaries, so I hope it wasn't too bad. I did enjoy reading this book. It was very interesting because I've never read the history of sperm, but I'm looking forward to reading the next one. Thanks for listening to my documentary. Have a good day, Enrique.